Cooper is taking his daughter to a concert. She got good grades, 4 A's and a B. She deserves it. But Cooper isn't interested in Lady Raven. He's not only bored, but overstimulated by the surroundings. In order to distract himself from this nightmare, Cooper comes up with a conspiracy about needing to escape the performance venue. But his daughter is so happy at the concert. Look at her. Look at him looking at her. He can endure for Riley. He loves her. But the venue is loud. There's an annoying mother with a cruel child, and just talking to other people is overwhelming. But hey, Bruv has been masking his entire life, and he can both give his kid the best concert experience ever and make it out of the venue undetected. Tonight is about Riley, and his baggage is not about to get in the way of her experience. So, M. Night cast his daughter as Lady Raven. In the press for the film, he talks about how only Salika could have both written all of the songs and performed the pop star role.
What she achieved is extraordinarily difficult, to the point that I don't think there are two hands of people on the planet that could do it. It's that difficult.
And the thing is, the whole Lady Raven as a pop star thing isn't all that important to the film. Like, it helps set the tone for the concert, but the movie isn't really interested in Lady Raven, the performer. These scenes are more about Riley being excited at the show. The only shots of Lady Raven during the concert are from the audience's perspective. All we see are the giant screens and the tiny little ant person performing to hundreds of people. Even when Riley gets on stage with her, the perspective is of Cooper watching his daughter, not some stagey thing showing off Salika's massive talent. The film is more interested in Lady Raven as an actual human being. Also, can we just take a moment to appreciate the majesty of Kid Cudi's hair in this? Cheers. So, once we get into the second act, M. Night frames his daughter as brave, clever, and kind. And let's just sidestep the whole going into a serial killer's house after he's unmasked himself to you thing, and maybe let's just forgive, like, the insane plot machinations and the creaky dialogue in favor of a more abstract, emotional interpretation of this film. So, she's like brave because she risks her life to save a stranger. She's clever, using her resources, aka her immense fame, to solve the riddle of where the guy is being held. And she's kind. She visits the victim and the girl who helped save him. And she's also really nice to Riley the entire film, despite her lineage. And while M. Night is proud of his daughter as a musician, Salika's big musical performance is not in front of a massive audience, but in Riley's living room, in a family setting. Here she performs an entire song, not just bits and pieces to set the ambience for the concert stuff. And yeah, there's scenes with Salika and not the greatest acting of all time ever, but again, the dialogue. She's actually pretty decent in this scene.
Cooper, you listen to me now. Enough of this foolishness.
The big through line of this film is about reconciling the two parts of yourself, the dad and the monster. And this is more directly about men and how men feel monstrous, but they want love and family, but society pigeonholes them and they're caught between a rock and a hard place and shit sucks and are men okay? Is there a way to help them be okay that doesn't require me putting myself in danger? Because I feel like man or bear? No? Okay. I mean, clearly there's absolutely nothing I can do as an individual to support the men in my life, so I'm going to take a pass and make this society's problem. Glad we could agree on that. Anyway, the film is more about reconciling the two parts of yourself, the human and the monster, and in order to adapt to the normie world, our man Cooper uses masking to cope. I've never really seen masking portrayed like this. I mean, I guess there's American Psycho, but that's more about Patrick Bateman using his consumption, something, not quite sure, haven't seen in a while. But here, the camera just sits in front of Cooper and his scene partner. There's this outpouring of awkwardness, mostly emanating from Cooper. This is actually what it feels like to be in a situation where you're not emotionally connected to the other person, but are still trying to follow the rules of social nicety. It's not that Cooper doesn't have emotional depth. He becomes highly aroused, torturing, and killing people, so much so that he has to avoid triggers in his quote-unquote normal person life to pass. And having to mask constantly, Cooper is confused about which experiences are part of his real life, about which experiences are actually meaningful to him. The film explains that the only person who knew about Cooper's monstrosity was his mother, and that she would punish him for his transgressions. The film even draws a parallel between Cooper's mom and Dr. Grant, the profiler tasked with hunting him. And this is where our cute little daddy-daughter film morphs into an eerie mother-son tragedy. Late in the film, Cooper talks about keeping his two lives separate. When his family escapes the house, Cooper notes that he's never viewed the house from that perspective, the monster planning an escape perspective. Though this later gets redacted when he escapes through the preconceived tunnel in the pantry. And while up until now he has largely been able to keep his lives separate, both his wife and daughter notice that something's up with him.
Got it.
You're acting weird. Is something wrong? Do you want to go home?
What was it about it that didn't feel right, Rachel?
The smell of cleaning fluid on your clothes.
It turns out that people other than his mother are actually interested in engaging with Cooper's true self. After being unmasked, Cooper doesn't have to repress his emotions anymore.
I feel such rage toward you, Rachel.
His anger at not getting to see his kids grow up is real. The family he believed to be false was real. Even after he's outed as the butcher, Riley accepts him. And just before he leaves the house, he stands Riley's bike up, but also grabs a wheel spoke for an escape plan. His two lives now fully merged. And Lady Raven also masks. Her job inherently requires her to do so, but also during the family home sequences, she's out here pretending, putting on her brave face. And then there's Rachel. When Lady Raven comes over, Rachel wears that massive smile. She really wants things to go well. Later, when Cooper confronts her, we actually get to watch her mask fracture in real time. The initial read here is that she's afraid of Cooper killing her. The second read is that her life is falling apart because her husband, the father of her children, someone she trusted implicitly, has been murdering people for almost a decade, and she was none the wiser. Rachel admits that she had suspicions of something, but she didn't confront him about it. This is fairly accurate to real life. Women who realize their husbands have done something terrible don't really know what to do with that information, especially if the family's still young, or he's the breadwinner, or the power dynamic isn't exactly equal. The fear Rachel's expressing here has been building up ever since she saw Cooper tell an emotionless, bold-faced lie to a neighbor, and her truth, the family's truth, is about to come storming out. Anyway, let me know how I'm wrong in the comments. Bye!